Hey, so I was doing a really quick order and I was going to do it on my multi-needle, but then I realized maybe I can do it on my single needle. So I recorded the process to show you all how it is possible. I used my 4x4 and the Pellon Sticky Tearaway Stabilizer, and I just cut the bare minimum amount of what I needed. From there, I went ahead and hooped it. You want to pay attention to which way your prongs are going, so when you put it on the machine, and then that notch at the top should match the notch on the bottom of the hoop. From there, I start at the top, pinch it together, and then at the bottom, I just kind of use my hand as an L shape and push it down and in. But you got to make sure everything on your hoop is loose enough to get it in there, because this paper is a little bit thick. The stabilizer is a little thicker than the regular. Push it down in. You got to push hard sometimes, and if it's too tight, you might have to unscrew the knob on the side and then push it down a little bit more just to get it secure. Good. Once it's in there, tighten up the sides, and then I score it just to pull the sticky stabilizer off the top. Sometimes it gets stuck, and you just gotta peel and peel and peel. But once you get it going, it'll come right off. I usually peel it away the majority of the area that I need, and it looks like I'm going to peel off all of it this time. Good. And once you get that last little corner peeled, I was really having a hard time here. But once you get that last little corner peeled, you'll have that entire surface area as your sticky stabilizer. And you can just take your hat, and I look and get the center line. I pay attention to my center lines on my hoop and pin the tag out of the way. Otherwise, that will get in the way of your stitch and you'll wind up stitching your tag down. But I take that center line and I match it up with my hoop. The center line's on my hoop. You want to make sure that the brim of the hat is pointing outward, because otherwise it'll get in the way of the embroidery arm. And you simply just stick it down. I didn't have to mark any of my center on the hat because I went with the seam that was there that was giving it an obvious center mark. Once you get it all stuck down, you can go back and put pins. I highly suggest putting pins because it will still shift. Although the sticky stabilizer is sticky, it may still shift. And I pinned both sides, the left, the right, and then just the top area. I didn't necessarily worry about the bottom where that emblem is because it's going to stay down, and it was pretty thick from the seam, so I didn't worry about it, but I went ahead and put a pin at the top just in case. And then it was ready to go. Then it was almost ready to go. I noticed it was a little crooked, so I wanted to straighten it up, because if it's crooked when you put it on there, it is obviously going to stitch out straight, but then with your hat being crooked, it'll come out crooked. So any last minute changes you need to make, go ahead and take that last opportunity to do so, because it's so much easier to fix it at that point than it is to fix it after it's been stitched. Good. So as long as it was parallel to the bottom there, it was good. Get your last little pieces of lint off, and we head to the machine. Here we are at the machine, threading, threading, threading. You want to go ahead and just slide it right on there. And I made sure that the hat could fit right up underneath that slope area, and it did really well. So the the design that I'm putting on here is just a name, so it's not going to take up much room. I traced out my area just to make sure it was going to be on the center and it was going to fit in the area that I wanted it to. And then also to make sure that once you're stitching, it's not going to just pull the whole thing off of your stabilizer. And then green means go, time to stitch. I didn't have any trouble with anything here, mainly because I was very diligent with tracing it out and making sure that everything was going to fit underneath the machine. And we're done. Great. All right, pull it off the machine. I usually take it towards the back just because that's easier to get the bulk of it off. So push it off towards the back, and then as we look at it right here, it's stitched out very well. We just need to cut our jump stitches, and then we are on our way. Take it off of the sticky stabilizer. It's a tearaway, so you just tear it right off. And then you notice I had the pin there, and it kept the tag out of the way. That's where it would have stitched down had I not pinned it back. So that was a good catch. Snip those threads in the back. I mean, it's not the most important in the world. The important thing about that is to make sure you don't cut that knot, otherwise it'll unravel. And then these are the jump stitches that I'm going to cut. I use a tweezer just to keep it up out of the way, and then when I snip it, it'll get it closer down and it won't leave those frayed lines. But there we have it. You can stitch on the back of a fitted hat on your single needle machine. Mission accomplished. Thanks for watching.